Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review the classic Transformers G1 episode, War of the Dinobots. Transformers Earth Wars is getting a G.I. Joe-sized update, and the Idw Drift Miniseries is coming to Japan. Today is Friday, October 25th, October 25th? Today's my birthday, everybody, and this is episode 152 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that follows strongest leader, always. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how you doing?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
I think you could have done that in a better Dinobot voice. Let's talk Transformers.
All right, I didn't practice. Sorry. All right, as always, we start off by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. You guys are amazing, awesome, spectacular. And if you'd like to become one of them, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support and you can sign up. And those guys help us by contributing money to the show every month, I should say. And they get some perks like listening to the show live as we record it every week, and some other goodies as we can get them out. Also, if you also want to support the show another way, you can buy some merchandise from our TeePublic store, and that is at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And you can buy some t-shirts, other merchandise. So we've got up there other Transformers themed stuff, as well as Transmissions shirts. You should also check out a friend of the show, K-Girl, who is at TFCon DC this weekend, I should say. Right now. So you can check out her TeePublic store at teepublic.com/user/superstark. And she's got some awesome art up there and also merchandise featuring that art. Also want to remind you, this is the last call, the real last call for the Transmission 6th anniversary contest. Go to transmissionspodcast.com/6 years, the number 6 and years. And this is where you can enter our 6th anniversary contest by filling out a form and giving us a moment, one of your favorite moments from the Transmissions podcast over the years. We will select winners at random from all the entries we receive by this Sunday, October 27th. So you've only got a couple of days left to enter. The grand prize winner will receive a Respect the Prime Decepticon Purple Vinyl LP, the Respect the Prime Construct-A-Cold EP CD, and one Transmissions t-shirt of their choice. And runners-up will receive a Respect the Prime Construct-A-Cold EP CD. So, come on. Got some prizes to win. Send those entries in. Do it while you're waiting in line at TFCon. Also want to remind you, right after this weekend, we're going to have episode 9 of Empire of Rust. So this Monday, October 28th, Empire of Rust episode 9 will be out. This will be the Slow and the Laborious part 2. So this is the race that Sweet Spot is participating in, the Cybertron Ibex Cup. See if Sweet Spot can win the race. Can he beat his idol Blur in that race? Got to listen and find out. Will something unexpected happen during the race? I guess you'll have to see. All right, so let's start off with a little bit of comics news. So we've got some more news about IDW Comics being reprinted in Japan. So we've got a listing from Amazon Japan that has the IDW Drift Miniseries that will be out November 29th, 2019 for 2,420 yen, which is approximately $22 US. And this is the 4-issue miniseries that was originally published in 2010 that tells the origin of Drift. This was art by Casey Collar, I believe. Or no, Alex Milne. Or no, yes, Alex Milne. Sorry, Alex Milne was the artist there. Sorry, Alex. This was art by Alex Milne. Casey did the spotlight, I think, but Alex did the miniseries. And it was written by with, of course, colors by Josh Perez, I believe, as well. So, and it was written by Shane McCarthy, also the writer of All Hail Megatron and the creator of the Drift character. Yeah, if you prefer to read things in Japanese, you can pick this up in about a month. I prefer to read in English, so I've already got the English version of this, so I'm happy. All right, that's all the comics news, so let's move on to our review. This week, we don't have a new comic, so we're going to do a classic G1 episode. And this is War of the Dinobots. This is a season 1 episode. It is available on Tubi TV, which has all the G1 episodes available for streaming for free. And I believe we did confirm this works in Canada as well as the US. So
that it does.
You can check that out.
It's the one thing.
It's the only thing that doesn't stand in my way
of watching Transformers.
Yes.
I think if you grew up in the 80s like us, you've of course probably watched this back in the day, and have seen it several times since. So let's talk about this episode. Daryl, you want to start us off?
Sure. The opening credits roll, and we've seen these before. They're very similar to the credits from the last. No, I'm kidding. I wrote nothing for this, just so you know.
No, okay. Neither did I.
Okay.
We can just talk about it. We don't have to give a full summary. We can just talk about it.
It's the very rare Charles throwing someone under the bus. It starts off, and there's a meteor coming to Earth, and once it lands, they need to protect it. It's detected by Chip Chase, so they need to protect it. And Optimus says, "You know what? Let's unpack those Dinobots we put away a few episodes ago." And get them over here. The part that got me when I was on this rewatch is that one of the lines he says is, "It's very unstable. We don't know anything about it. We need to study it," and then proceeds to shoot it with his energy blaster to shoot off a chunk, which comes off in a perfect ball, mind you. So, but that aside, I just thought that it was hilarious that to get something off so that he could study it, he just fires his gun at it, and it's ridiculous. So, but yeah, he leaves the Dinobots there to guard it, while the rest of the Autobots go and take this piece of meteorite back to Autobot headquarters to study. Megatron sends Soundwave over there, and yeah, it's to go and talk or to figure what's going on, and then Megatron himself comes in and talks to the Dinobots to see if he can convince them, because they're dumb, to switch sides, or at least take out Optimus Prime for him, and he succeeds in convincing them because they're dumb. Yeah, so that's pretty good. It's standard operating procedure for G1 episodes. Pretty easy plots, and it's got some good lines in it. I think there's not a lot of fighting, but some of the fighting that does take place between the Dinobots and Optimus, and the Dinobots and Megatron, they're pretty good. I guess when Optimus gets back to the base with the meteorite, he decides to let Ratchet and Wheeljack build 2 more Dinobots, because the experiment was so good before. So the proceedings, they go on, and they finally build them. They build them very fast, which is good. But he gets Chip and Spike to help pick the type of dinosaur that they mold them on.
Stegosaurus and Tyranno what's it?
Mm-hmm.
But they're strong. I mean, they're strong. So I mean, they're built by the same two that built them before. So that's generally how it goes. And
You remember when that was just all it took to make a Transformer? Just put one together.
Just assemble it. Yeah, I think
buy the kit at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, they realize that the piece of meteorite is unstable. Trailbreaker gets to use his superpower of force fields and contains the blast, but they realize they've got this ticking time bomb out there, and wherever the hell this thing is, they need to get over there and fix that situation.
I like how the meteor crash landed in a conveniently ruined cityscape.
Oh yeah.
Where there was fortunately no one was living because maybe it was like an atomic bomb testing area or something. That's why it was all.
I assumed it was South America,
destroyed
and it was some kind of ruined city from some kind of previous war down there. But it doesn't look like anything in North America, so that's where I always kind of put it in my head was South America.
Wasn't the last one we reviewed about something in South America?
Possibly.
Yeah, fire in the sky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought it was closer because they like quickly drove out there from the Ark.
That doesn't mean anything. They drove across oceans.
They have ground bridges. Don't you know that?
When Optimus arrives, he's greeted by the 3 Dinobots with a shot. He gets shot immediately by Slag, and then they fight because they have been brainwashed into thinking that they are stronger and they should lead. So the strongest should lead, and so they continue to fight. And when Optimus doesn't go down or stay down, I mean, that's a clue to them to being that he is much stronger than they anticipated. So, you guys want to take over the rest? One of you?
Sure. Yeah, I can.
I didn't get through my rewatch all the way, so I've got like 6 minutes left. So
the Dinobots, they are stronger, so they do, and it's 3 against 1. Can't forget that part. They do succeed in beating up Optimus Prime, but for some reason, so Slag wants to just, destroy Optimus Prime completely. They won, so they should just terminate him. But for some reason, Grimlock stops him, and he's like, "No, we beat him, but we're not gonna kill him just yet. We're gonna go to." They let Megatron take the meteorite away, and they're gonna go over there with them and show them how they've bested Optimus Prime. They go there, and Megatron's like, "Wait a minute! Why didn't you destroy Optimus Prime? He's, you won. What are you doing?" And Grimlock's like, "No, I decide when I destroy who I destroy." So, Grimlock's rebelliousness works in Prime's favor for a little bit here. But Prime chalks it up to the deep Autobot programming that he has that prevents him from killing his Autobot friends. But
the initial brainwashing.
Yeah. that brainwashing was stronger than Megatron's brainwashing. So they wait. So Prime tries to tell Megatron, "Look, I know you think you've won, but the meteorite is unstable, and if you don't get rid of it, it's gonna blow up in your face." Of course, Megatron doesn't believe him because Prime always lies, right? Prime is known for being a compulsive liar. He never tells the truth. But of course, Megatron doesn't believe him because he's the bad guy. And so the Autobots, when they realize that there's stuff going on, that they can't get to the meteorite in time because it's about to explode. They know who can get there in time. Their new Dinobots, Swoop and Snarl. So for some reason, those Dinobots are much faster than the Autobots. Swoop I can see since he can fly, but apparently Snarl can fly too, just because he's a Dinobot.
Can't all the Dinobots fly?
Yeah, apparently. So they go, Snarl and Swoop go to get the meteorite, and they attack the original Dinobots. And so they throw down. And as they keep fighting, the meteorite becomes more and more unstable. And Prime starts to come to, and as he watches the battle unfold, all the Dinobots get their shots in, back and forth. And in the process of the battle, Grimlock gets knocked near the meteorite. And finally, Megatron and Starscream realize that Prime was telling the truth as the meteorite gets, more and more glowy and looks like it's about to explode. And so in the last second, Prime sees that Grimlock is right in harm's way, and he leaps and pushes Grimlock out of the way of the explosion as the meteorite blows up and destroys itself. But no Transformers were harmed in the explosion. But the prize that everyone was after, this energy meteorite, is no more. But Grimlock realizes that he misjudged Optimus Prime, since Optimus Prime saved his life, despite the fact that Grimlock beat him up earlier. He realizes that Megatron was manipulating him, and he says, "Bad Megatron, bad Megatron." Megatron is, of course, sees that the tables have turned and orders a hasty Decepticons retreat. As the Decepticons leave, and the Dinobots rejoin the Autobots. Grimlock says, "Optimus Prime, can you forgive me? Grimlock was jealous." Prime just shakes his hand, pats him on the back, and says, he doesn't even say, he just says the meteorite menace is over. He doesn't even really say anything to Grimlock, but the message is Grimlock's forgiven and everyone's happy again, and that's the end. Yay, Dinobots are back together. One thing I also noticed about this episode, this is the rare example of Soundwave using his mind reading ability. So, he does in the episode, I believe he says it's a brain scan when he scans the Dinobots to learn their weaknesses. As Megatron says, Grimlock is arrogant, Slag is hostile, and Sludge is stupid. I guess stupider than the other two Dinobots. And that is War of the Dinobots.
Since I haven't gotten to the end of it, did the other two just follow in line? like
they do.
Known,
I mean,
like the other two, like they've known the other three for the entire time.
I mean, there's no final dialogue between the five Dinobots. It's just they stop fighting after the meteorite explodes, and all the Autobots finally get there. So everyone's like, okay, we're a team again, and so. I think that the next episode they appear is in the Ultimate Doom. So at that point, the five Dinobots are all working together. But in this one, there's no extra scene where they form a team or anything.
They actually even talk to each other for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. This is when I was going through this, the amount that I got through anyway. It was definitely the episode so far is the best example of the characters with their showing off their superpowers and plot weaponry, right? So the Dinobots showed off the amount of Slag could fire his energy or fire blast or energy blast from his horns, all three horns, right? And that gets lost at some point during the series. They're breathing fire, which I guess you do see that more often, right? That at least made it into the movie. But you're seeing so many characters with their super abilities, and I mentioned Trailbreaker before. A lot of this stuff does obviously get lost because it's the plot armor or plot weapons that I mentioned before. But yeah, I find it funny that they all make such a big appearance in this, and you mentioned obviously Soundwave and its mind reading.
Yeah, and they do give a little showcase of the new Dinobots when they do their initial test where Ratchet and Wheeljack say, "Okay, you 4 or 5 Autobots, stop the Dinobots if you can," and then Snarl and Swoop get a chance to display all their powers with Snarl with his Stegosaurus. tail whip power with drawing energy from the sun from his scales, and swoop with his all his flying ability and everything. So
yeah,
they show off a lot there, and then the Autobots basically makes all the Autobots look like they're terrible.
Oh, it's a rare time you see Sideswipe fly.
Yep.
Without his jetpack.
If it was a real battle, they would have won.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I did notice this episode's animation was not the greatest, but not too bad. So it's pretty good. There were some coloring errors, and then like one part where like Slag's voice was coming out of Sludge's mouth. But other than that, it looked pretty good. Looked pretty well done. Everyone looked like they were moving pretty well. Because some of the G1 episodes, they're really rough. Like the animation is really bad, but this one was okay.
Well, I mean, we're still in season 1, right? So season 1 has only got I don't know what, like
16 episodes.
Yeah, not many. So you've got to give them an opportunity to still they're still working pretty hard on these first few episodes because they don't have a lot to work with. So yeah, it's in season 2 when they're pumping out like 60 some odd episodes in season 2 that they really do start to lose it a bit.
Jeremy, I know you didn't get a chance to do a full rewatch here, but what did you think of this episode? I
liked it. I don't have a lot to contribute based on what everyone has said, but I looking back at all the lore that's been added in the years since, it's just funny. All of these episodes where they just build new Transformers. I mean, even the comics at the time still like introduced the Matrix to give them life.
Right.
But in the cartoon, it was they just built new robots.
Yep.
So it's like, I don't know. Even as a kid, I had some kind of question about that. I'm like, are they really thinking beings or are they just robots? But yeah, I don't know. These Dinobot focused episodes are always enjoyable to watch. I do need to rewatch this one with my son because we watched the other ones. I think this one would be another fun one to watch.
Yeah, dinosaurs and robots are that's catnip for kids.
And meteors.
Oh, yeah.
You get space.
A little bit of science there. Always shoot the unstable meteor.
Do you think it could have been stable before Optimus shot it?
Possible. Yeah.
I also wonder how like a rock is a source of energy. Like where's the energy in the rock?
Radiation.
You're a doctor. Come on, man.
Have you not read a comic before?
It's gamma rays, Charles.
I also liked how like Sparkplug was like totally confused by dinosaurs. Like every kid knows, like all these dinosaurs are like the top favorites for every kid knows them, immediately. When you get introduced to dinosaurs when you're a kid, you like pick up on them immediately. And Sparkplug was just flabbergasted. He's like, "What's Stegosaurus? Oh, Chip, how do you know this? This is just crazy knowledge.
Well, you do have to remember this is days before the internet, so Teletran 1 didn't have anything it could plug into and get this information.
I had dinosaur books when I was a kid that had all the colorful pictures of the dinosaurs and everything.
I mean, this is on a bit of a side tangent, but I look back at like the original Grimlock toy and the way that they had him standing, and that used to be what they thought the Tyrannosaurus Rex stood like, right? Like basically straight up, right? And and that's the way that they kind of depicted it in the show, right? It wasn't until I think it was the 90s or something like that they
Jurassic
actually realized.
Park.
It was Jurassic Park made the scientific discovery when they made the CGI dinosaurs that they couldn't do it standing up. No, they figured it out that it was actually done a different way. So if you're looking at your your Grimlock toy, your original G1 or G2, you're like, that's how they actually thought the T-Rex looked back in the 80s, is this standing up lizard thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I often think about that when I look at these old cartoons. I'm like, yeah, that's so wrong. so very wrong. But that's the way they had it.
They also had like Sludge originally was a Brontosaurus, which they reclassified to a Patasaurus, and I think at some point they reclassified it back to Brontosaurus at some point or something. I don't know.
A brachio.
You're getting yourself back into trouble. I mean, let's leave the specific dinosaur talk to Moonbase too.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Charles has a doctorate too, right? So I mean, he's allowed to talk about it. Once you've got a doctorate, you can.
Charles is a dinosaur doctor.
Well, I mean, once you've got a doctorate, you can talk about whatever you want. So, I mean, and what do dinosaurs need doctors for? I mean,
they're all dead.
Yeah, Mikey's wasting his doctorate over there. They don't need a doctor. He's not helping any dinosaurs.
I look forward to the Moonbase 2 clapback. All right. Well, that is our review of the classic G1 episode, War of the Dinobots. And we will move on to Transformers media news.
All right, in media news this week, first up, we've got a piece of concept art from Cyberverse. It's for props and vehicles and stuff like that. So just kind of things that they kind of came up with just while they're working away on the show. So you can kind of take a look at that. You can definitely see a hot rod in here, a wheeljack, Bumblebee. You got an arc, a crown for some dinosaur type guy, a couple other cars, some guns, a whole bunch of crazy crap. So take a look at that if you're really into the show and you want some behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Is that a briefcase holding the Matrix down towards the end, like next to last one?
Looks like it. Looks like a Matrix in a briefcase.
They found a way to incorporate a briefcase into the show.
Listen, we've already covered that they are big comic fans. They're in Ireland, so yeah, they have the ability to reference a lot of IDW comic stuff. So yeah, the kids won't get it, but the parents will. I think I would love to see Cheetor get a My First Blaster, and then I'd be done. That'd be it. Next up, we've got G.I. Joe. It's a Transformers podcast. I don't know why this is in here. Oh, yes, here it is. It's joining Transformers Earth Wars. So G.I. Joe is not big enough anymore to have its own game, so they're shoehorning it into Transformers Earth Wars. So you'll be able to use the G.I. Joe vehicles. You'll get some cinematics with G.I. Joe characters. That looks kind of fun. I have not played Earth Wars in years, so it's obviously still working and doing very well. We're going to talk about something else with Earth Wars in a second that is likely why they're still doing a lot of this crazy stuff. But yeah, G.I. Joe in Earth Wars. Look at that. Next up, we've got another piece of music from the Transformers Prime theme is being added to this. What is it? There's a name for this. Is it the rollout? I can't find that. What are they calling the name of this thing? Anyway,
Soundtrack Saturdays.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
What this thing says.
I thought there was an actual name to the album that they're doing here, but I thought maybe not. Yeah, there it is. From the Transformers Rollout album. So yeah. Anyway, this is the new song that they're adding to this is the Transformers Prime theme, and this is by Brian Taylor. This is an awesome song. I mean, if you remember Transformers Prime, the theme song was just killer. I actually have it on my Spotify playlist, so I can listen to it as part of just a regular mix of just like theme songs from TV shows and stuff. But yeah, the Transformers Prime theme song is pretty cool. But you can listen to it here as part of the Transformers soundtrack Saturday. And lastly, in media news, Cyberverse Episode 7 is on YouTube. If you're in America, yay. And that's it for media news.
All right, so let's move on to transforming pop culture. And so I saw this on Jim Sterling. I watch his YouTube series, but it's also made the rounds in other video game news sites, and it's been talked about on our Discord channel in the gaming section. But yeah, this refers to Transformers Earth Wars, as Daryl mentioned. So apparently, so in Australia, there was a Game Connect Asia Pacific conference where developers of mobile games were getting together and talking about their successes, particularly in monetization of the free-to-play mobile games. And the publisher of Transformers Earth Wars, Yodo One, the one of the representatives from that, the CEO, Henry Fong, CEO of the publisher and developer Yodo One, talked about how they have one person who plays Transformers Earth Wars spent $150,000 on microtransactions in the Earth Wars game. So, yeah. So free to play, that's in the big quotes there. I have not played Earth Wars in a long time. I know some people on our Discord are still playing it and enjoying it. I think the way most people play it is not to spend any money at all, which is why they depend on these so-called whales to spend a lot of money. Although I don't know if you're expecting to spend this scale of money. This seems really ridiculous.
If someone has $150,000 they want to frivolously spend, I'd point them to transmissionspodcast.com/.
Yeah, I mean the sad thing is this is really preying on those people who have those kind of addictive tendencies, and it's kind of worse than gambling, because at least with gambling you have a chance to actually win some money, but here it's all losses. I mean, you get some cool Transformers digital characters in your Earth Wars game, and that's it. So that's a lot of money to complete your Earth Wars character set. Not a fan of the whole gambling mechanic in the whole they call it the gotcha mechanic, where you have to spend money to buy chances to win particular characters in these games. And yeah,
we were talking before the show. I have been kind of forced back into Angry Bird Transformers because I have a young child that is into Angry Birds right now, and it's just seeing again I haven't played a freemium game in a long time, and getting to a point where it's like you can eventually, over like weeks of daily playing, get to a certain point, or you can pay $5 and get everything you need to get to that immediately. It's very clear how they prey on people. Yeah,
so I mean, unregulated gambling in the mobile market, fun. So I think I speak for everyone when I say don't spend any money on these mobile free to play games. If they get really grindy, just stop playing them. I mean, it's not worth it. I mean, and that's the sad thing. I mean, it makes the developers are incentivized to make these games worse to encourage you to spend money. And you can't just make a fun game that I can pay up front for. And that's why I prefer console games, because you can just pay one price and get a full game. Although even that has changed with some games where you pay a full price and then you have to pay for more microtransactions in the game as well. So not cool, video game makers, not cool. Enjoy the games, but don't spend any money on them. All right, so that was Transforming Pop Culture, and we will finish up the show with convention news.
Right. And I think we missed this one last week. But this is for TF Nation 2020. They have announced their first guest, and it is Tanya Gunadi, who was the voice of Miko in Transformers Prime, which is kind of cool that we had that Transformers Prime soundtrack story. She has also done a lot of live action work and is also currently Lady Shiva in DC Superhero Girls. She does a number of voice work as well. I think this is her first Transformers convention I can think of since BotCon 2011. Awesome that they are getting her to come over, and it says that she'll be taking part in panels and Q&As and chatting with fans. So, this is awesome, and again, makes me wish I could go over to the UK, but it's just not feasible. If you want more information, you can go to tfnation.com, and their convention is August 14th through 16th, 2020. So, yeah, look forward to hearing, more information about that panel and seeing who else they have to announce. That is all we got for convention news.
All right, and that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Thus ends our broadcast day.
It's a dildo.